Monday night, the Budget Balancing Committee met for their monthly meeting at Town Hall. Before the meeting, there was a rally held by the proponents of the proposed override. For more on the rally and the meeting, we send it over to Brian Boudreau.
Monday night, a group of Norwood residents gathered on the front lawn of Town Hall to show their support for an operational override. The organizers of the rally scheduled it to occur immediately prior to the Budget Balancing Committee meeting. Adults and children braved the frigid temperatures to show their support of an override.
The Budget Balancing Committee has done some really good work coming up with an option for an operational override. And Norwood's one of the few towns that's never taken that option, and I think they have a really good strategic plan, so the people are here tonight to encourage this board to move that recommendation along to the selectmen, so then we can get this on the ballot for the spring and let the voters decide if the town's ready for an override. And I think you could see that the town is ready for an override.
Attendees of the rally included some of Norwood's elected officials who wanted to express their support of the proposed override.
I think everyone is here because they care about what happens to this town, and just walking through and seeing the signs and seeing all of this massive community support is really exciting. And just hearing, them chanting Norwood Pride means override, I think it really speaks for itself. And I think that it's another testament of why we're really lucky to live in this town where so many people care about the future of this town.
Inside Town Hall, the Budget Balancing Committee started their meeting at 6 p.m. The committee decided to move the meeting from Room 24 of Town Hall to Memorial Hall to accommodate the overflow crowd. Following a discussion of new information received on state aid, the committee voted to reconsider their previous recommendation of a $7 million override.
Bill.
Make a motion that we change, as I just said, change the number at our last meeting, $7 million, recommended for an override to $5,950,000 based on the new information of state aid in the Governor's House 1 bill.
After 8 months of meetings, the Budget Balancing Committee unanimously voted to recommend a $5.95 million override to the Board of Selectmen.
All in favor of 5.95 million? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. It's very good. It's excellent that we get a unanimous vote. I think that's very significant.
Following up from their decision Monday night, the Budget Balancing Committee appeared before the Board of Selectmen to formally deliver their recommendation to propose the operational override.
The committee has been working, as Mr. Slater will tell you, since last summer on a 5-year projection. I believe they have some a recommendation to us of an important nature. It involves an operational override.
We met throughout the summer and the fall, beginning of December. We took a vote in December for an override of $7 million, which included money for the schools, money for the town, money for snow and ice, and money for roads. And that was the recommendation we thought we'd be going with. However, last week, the governor released his new cherry sheet. And Norwood came out very well, very favorably compared to a number of communities, particularly in the Chapter 70 school funds.
After having the discussions, it was time to vote, and Selectman Plasko made a motion.
Very good. Mr. Plasko.
I don't know if it's too early, if there's more discussion, but we've had quite a bit of discussion. I don't think we want to see this board, at least at this time, take a position on whether there should or shouldn't be an override passed. But I think we should pass a motion, or I would make a motion and hope it would pass, that we accept the recommendation of the Townwide Budget Balancing Committee that we should have a community discussion over the need for, whether or not there's a need for an override, and support putting an override on a ballot at a future time to be discussed at next week's meeting. Second.
Town Manager Tony Mazzucco sat down with Jack McCarthy Wednesday night on Norwood Digest. A wide variety of topics were discussed. Amongst them was the hottest subject in town right now, the override.
So it seems this is the first time that people are taking a serious look at an operational override. And you're right in the thick of it. And how's that group getting along? How's it going?
So far the conversation's been positive, which is important. Everyone is doing what they think is best for the community. So, you can say there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer. Everyone has the best interest of the community at their heart, and we just have, some people will have a difference of opinion as to what leads to what's best for the community. I always encourage people to look at the future, and whenever you make a decision like that, think about where we're going to be in 5 years, in 10 years, and in 20 years. It's about looking down the road. We can get sort of caught up in the politics of it. We can get caught up in the battles of A or B and this budget line versus that budget line. But take a step back and say, where do we want to be in 10 or 20 years? And in 10 or 20 years, we want to look back and say, thankfully they made the right decisions, and not, uh-oh, they didn't make good decisions 10 or 20 years ago, and that's why we're the situation we're in.
Right.
Norwood hasn't made any bad decisions. Norwood hasn't done anything wrong. There's been no fault. It's just a discussion about where we want the community to go and where people want the community to go. And tax overrides are difficult. There's a lot of politics behind them. There's an affordability question for a lot of people in the community. And then there's an honest question about where democracy and what level of service do people want.
Right.
Some people may think we don't need a higher level of service. Some people are fine with the level of service we have. Some people may want to pay for a higher level of service. And those are all fine. There's nothing inherently wrong with any of them. So I hope the discussion continues, and as long as it stays positive and everyone on both sides of an issue has the best interest of the community at heart, we just disagree how to get there, and that's fine. Disagreement is okay.
But one of the things that I really appreciate when I sit back and watch, because it's not like this in every town. It's the town, the town side of government gets along with the school side, the school department, and when you're working in concert, you get way more done than when you're not. And I see it all over the state in what I do.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, there's no town and there's no school. There's just Norwood.